Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I want to say a very big thank you to all of my subscribers. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, like my video and share my video. I want to say thank you so much for the likes, for the subscribe. Thank you so much. Actually today I'll be cutting a Bustier peplum top for you. That's actually what I'm going to be cutting with this fabric, this Ankara fabric. It's a Bustier. They also call it breast cut Bustier. That's what I'm actually going to be cutting for you. But the why I have my lining here, I'm actually going to be drafting it on my lining, because the reason is you can see this Ankara, it actually has pattern. So I actually want this pattern to be at the middle. So if I draft directly on this fabric, it will not show, because I want this circle to be at the center of the breast cut. So that's why I'm going to be drafting it here on this lining. So I've made out some points for it. This is like the shoulder line, and then this is the breast point line, which is the nipple, and then this is the under bust. I'm going to be showing you. First of all, I folded my fabric. This is the back piece and the front piece. I folded my fabric into two. That's the front into two and then the back into two. Actually, what I'm going to be doing, the measurement I'm actually going to be using today, the breast measurement is actually 36 inches. So when you divide 36 into 4, you have 9. So I added another 6 inches to it to give me this 15 inches. So that's why I folded my fabric at 16. This is for beginners, in case you don't want to waste your fabrics and you don't know how to fold. So that's how you fold. You divide the biggest part of the measurement into 4, and then you add 5 or 6 inches. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, as I go along, I'll insert the measurement into it. This pattern of breast cut bustier is called the shoulder dart. So the dart is going to be running from the top to the down part. So for this is like standard. I've been using it and it has been working for me, so I'll keep using it. The top part I would measure 14 inches. When you divide 14 into 2, you have 7. So this top part, that's the upper part, I'm actually going to be measuring 7 inches. I'll mark it like this. For this top part, this is 7 inches. Then when I come to this middle part, this is the breast point line I told you initially, which is the nipple. Then this is the under bust. For this nipple part, I'm going to be using, like I always say in most of my videos, always measure your nipple to nipple. As you can see, this is 8 inches for me. This is actually 8 inches, so I'll add half an inch to it. It will give me 4.5. So I'll put my tape here like this, and then I'll measure 4.5 here. Then the 4.5, I'll just take it down like this. 4.5. As I'm coming up, just above, just like 4 inches above the breast point line, 4 inches above, I'll use 5 inches. So as I'm coming up, you see, you remember initially we used 7 inches for this top part. So as I'm coming just below, I'll use 6.5. So at the end of the day, I'll just connect my lines together like this. It's actually not really straight. The line is not supposed to be straight. So that's why I set my ruler aside. It's not actually supposed to be a straight line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, from this top part, like I told you initially, I said I use 7 inches. 7 inches is like standard measurement for people that their shoulder is from 14 above. But if the shoulder is below, you can reduce this up part, you can reduce it to 6 inches. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, from this point, I'll measure 3 inches. You can decide to use 3 and 2.5. You can decide to use 2.5, but I'll use 3 inches for this measurement. I'll use 3 inches. Then from this breast point line, like I told you, this is the breast point, where this is the under bust. Under bust is here. This is the under bust. Then this is the breast point, which is here. So from this breast point line, I'll use 1 inch here, like this. I'll just measure it like this is 1 inch. You can use 1/4. Then for this down part, which is the under bust, this under bust part, I'll use 2.5 inches. I'll use 2.5 inches like this. This is 2.5 inch here, and this is 1 inch. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be making a curve. This is the nipple point, so that's where your curve actually begins from. So just take it like this. If you have a curve, you can decide to use a curve ruler. You can see the point. That's the point there. Then when you get to this point, you stop and then you curve, come down like this. And then this line goes to join back to this line up here. And if you notice, you can see what I did. I actually did not make it straight. I did something like a curve like this here. This actually helps you to sit properly on the shoulder. So you can see. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'll cut this out. I'll set this aside. This is the back. I've not touched the back part of my measurement of my fabric. Then I'll take this like this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'll take this middle part like this, and then take, this is the middle part, sorry, I'll take it like this and place on top. You can see what I'm doing. Just place it at 1/2 inch on top like this, 1/2 inch here, and then from this down point also another 1/2 inch, just for it to cover. I just place it like this, and then the back part, I'm going to be leaving 1.5 inch as my zipper allowance for the back. So this is the back, so I'll leave the 1.5 inch at the back as my zipper allowance. So you see, this is the 1.5. I'll just adjust it properly, and then like I said, for this part, this middle part, just make sure it's accurate. I'll just place it like this, 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch down. Just place. And then now I'm going to be measuring out my full body measurement. So I'll just trim out this excess. I'm going to be measuring out my full body measurement. I told you initially, I said the shoulder for this illustration is actually 14 inches. So when you divide 14 into 2, you actually have 7. So this is 7 inches. And then I add 1/2 inch to it as my for my seam allowance. So it's going to be here. Then I'll take my tape like this from the allowance point. Remember, I left 1/2 inch on top. This 1/2 inch on top is for the seam allowance to join the shoulder. So I'll just bring it like this and then measure 8 inches. This 8 inches, I'm going to be using it as the armhole. This 8 inches can also serve as my chest line. So I'll just make a curve like this. This curve is actually for my armhole. I'll make a curve. Then the next thing I'm going to be measuring now is the bust. So to measure the bust, I'll just put it just below the chest line. Like I told you, I use 8 inches for this chest line. I'll put it just below. And you know, initially when you divide 36 into 4, you have 9 inches. So I'll take my tape like this, place here. I'm not working with this back part. I'm not working with the zipper allowance. This is my 9 inch. I'll just measure 9 inch like this, and then take this and then use 3 inches as my allowance. Why I'm using 3 inches, you can use 2 inches. Why I'm using 3 inches is because I'm going to be sewing and turning from the inside. So that's why I'm using 3 inches. So then the next measurement I'm going to be measuring now is the under bust measurement. This is the under bust, the nipple part, which is this part. I'm not going to be touching it. So I'm going to be measuring from the under bust measurement, and the under bust measurement for this illustration is actually 30. When you divide 30 into 4, you have 7.5 inches. So I'll take my tape like this, and this is my 7.5 inches. So I'll use another 3 inches, just like what I did initially for my allowance. Then I'll connect the lines like this. I'll just connect it like this, and then bring it down. For this down part, for this down part, actually I'm actually going to be cutting it out, but in case you don't want your peplum to just be below your under bust. If you want it elongated a little bit down, you measure the waist. You now take this your tummy part as the waist part of the measurement. For this, the waist part of this measurement is actually 32. So when you divide 32 into 4 again, you have 8 inches. This is 8 inches, and then you add 3 inches as your allowance. So I'm just using this, but I'm actually going to be cutting from the top part. So this is it. So this is how you now measure. If your peplum is going to be, if you are going to be cutting it from the waist part, so you now make sure you measure the waist part where the peplum cut is going to be. Always measure it. Then I'll take my scissors and then I'll cut out like this. So for the back, like I always say in most of my videos, you just open up this back part and just open it up like this. For the back, you can decide to do regular dart, just your regular waist dart for the back. You just measure for the regular waist dart. You measure another 4 because of the zipper allowance. Remember that we used 1.5 inch as our allowance. So you start it from the 1.5 and then measure your 4 inches. You can decide to use 4 inches or you use 4.5 and then make a notch here. And as you're sewing, you just hold it. And then you have your waist dart here. Okay. And then you have your waist dart here. Pause it. So as you can see, this is the front part, like I told you initially. And then this is the down part. Then for the neck, because this is the lining, I'm actually not going to be cutting the neck, but I'm going to be showing you how to do this. So I'll take it like this. I'll mark it, but I'm not going to be cutting it out. I'll mark it like this. For the neck measurement, if it's actually a small neck that is not too big, just like what I have on now, I'll measure 3.5 inches from this top point, like this, 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches here. Then the depth, like I always say in most of my videos, you can always measure. So for the depth of the neck, I'll use 5 inches like this. This is 5 inches. You can use 6. So it depends. So I'll just make a curve. This is just for a simple round neck. And then from this point, I'll just take 1/2 inch. You can use 1 inch. Okay, actually, I'll use 1 inch for this. And then make my shoulder slant like this. I'll just make a shoulder slant like this. And then I'll make my shoulder slant, and then I'll cut out the shoulder slant. Like I always say in most of my videos, the shoulder slant, the essence of the shoulder slant is for the shoulder to be relaxed. That is why we do the shoulder slant. So like I said, this is my lining, so I'm not going to be cutting out the neck from this lining. So I just use this as an indication to show you in case you're cutting on your actual fabric. So the next thing I'll do now, I'll take it to my machine and sew. And for this, the actual way of sewing, as in before then, I'll cut it out with my actual fabric. The next thing, I'll take it to my machine to sew. When you're sewing, I'll actually start sewing from the top. I'll actually start sewing from the top. You can start sewing from the down part. It depends on how the one that works for you. But for this shoulder dart, I'll actually start sewing. I'll actually start from the top. I'll sew it like this and then manipulate it, and then it will come. So the next thing I'll do now is I'll place it here. Like I told you initially, this is the circle. I actually want it to be here. So I'll place it like this and then cut out. So you find out that this will actually be in the middle of my fabric. So the next thing when I'm done, I'll come back and show you how to cut the peplum. Okay, welcome back, guys. As you can see, I finished coupling the front. Like I told you, the neck, I just made a simple round neck like I indicated on the lining. So I've measured everything out. The waist, I've shaped my armpit, sorry, the armhole. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be cutting the peplum. That's for the down part. I'm going to be showing you two methods of cutting peplum. The first one is using the basic calculation of 6.28. You divide the waist. You remember for this, we actually had 32 for the waist of this blouse. So when you divide 32 by 6.28, you come out with 5.09. So when you approximate it to, I will not approximate it to 5.1. So I'll be using 5.1 and then I'll add 1 inch allowance to it to give me 6 inches. So when I fold my fabric, I'll measure 6 inches. Okay, my fabric is folded into 4 now. I folded it into 4 parts. So like I told you initially, after using the basic calculation, which is of 6.28 to divide the waist, I had 5.1 and added 1 inch to it, so to give me 6 inches. So I'll take my tape like this and put it from this midpoint like this, and I'll measure 6 inches like this from here. 6 inches. For the allowance, you can decide to add 2 inches, but me, I choose to add 1. Since I can work with 1, I'm okay. And then you bring it to this point also, and then measure. And then connect your lines. And then from here, the blouse, the half parts, here I have 15 inches. Here, that's after sewing, cutting and trimming. I have 15 inches. And the blouse length is actually 25 inches. So I'll subtract this 15 inches from my 25 inches. And then I'm left with 10 inches. So what I'm going to be cutting now, from this part, I'll have 10 inches. And then I'll add 1 inch to it for my seam allowance. So I'll leave it at 11 inches. So I'll just take my tape like this from the down part of my line. I'll measure my 11 inches like this. And then I'll connect my line like this. So once I cut out now, this is my peplum. Like I told you initially, the other way of cutting peplum is you divide the waist measurement into 4. When you divide it into 4, like this 32, when you divide 32 into 4, you have 8 inches. So when you have 8 inches, you just take your tape and manipulate it from this top point, and you put your tape, and then you try and measure until you get to 8 inches. That's another way of cutting it. You can just take your tape. You can decide to start from here. I'm just using this as an example. If you don't want to use 6.28, so you just take it like this, and then you just try, and you see this place is 7, then you know that you have to take it down. You measure it until you have your 8 inches, then you add your allowance to it. The same thing. That's a different way of cutting a peplum. So you choose whichever you want to. So I'll set this aside and then cut this part. I just want to make sure it's accurate, and before I cut. Like I always say, don't always cut from the exact line, cut above the lines. So this is my 360-degree flare now. This is my 360-degree flare for my blouse. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I had some requests on my channel on how to cut a lining for a peplum. It's just simple. All you have to do is fold your lining into 4, just the way you folded your just the same way you folded your fabric when you wanted to cut the peplum. You just fold it into 4 like this. I'm just making it rough. Just fold it like this, and then you take your peplum, fold it into 4, and then you place like this. This is just the simple way. Once you do it like this, you will never go wrong. The lining is going to be perfect for it. You just take it like this, you fold it into 4 like this, and make sure everything is inside, and then you cut out. You cut and then reduce the lining by 1/2 inch. So once you do this, you are good to go. So now cut out the lining, then cut out my interfacing for the fabric. I'm going to be using soft stay for my fabric, and then iron, sew, turn, and then come back and show you the concluded part of the blouse. Hello guys, and welcome back. As you can see, I finished making the top. I finished connecting everything. You can see the peplum, you can see it standing, and at the end I bought these trimmings. I just used it for the neck, to just finish up the neck, to make it beautiful. And you can see the sleeve I made this high-low circle sleeve for the sleeve. So if you actually want to see how to make this high-low sleeve, just drop a comment below. So it's the comments that I get that is what will determine if I'll make the video of this sleeve. So if you know you like this sleeve and you want me to make the video, just comment about the sleeve and I'll do a video. So at the end, I made a big bold key split on the front of the dress. So I have now come to the end of this video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like this video, share this video. As you can see, the peplum is standing. I use strong gum stay, medium strong gum stay as my interface for it. So thank you so much. Like I said, subscribe and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.